What's going on, guys? Andrew Piluk Hockey here, back again with another video, continuing the Toronto Maple Leafs 2021-2022 player previews. And this one is going to be Rasmus Sandin. I think a lot of people really like this guy, including myself. He could be the next big thing for the Toronto Maple Leafs on the blue line, and we've been anticipating him to take a massive step this past season. And I think that he did quite well considering all the circumstances, but as things start to get a little bit more normal, we're hoping for that big step to be this season and to really see what this guy is capable of. But before I get any further into this video, make sure to like this video and subscribe if you're new. I'd really appreciate it. I know there's a lot of people that watch these videos that aren't subscribed, so please, doing that is very helpful. Liking and subscribing helps me a ton. Also, the September 25th Maple Leafs preseason game, I will be there. The Maple Leafs against the Montreal Canadiens. If you're going to be there, let me know down below. I'd really appreciate you letting me know that as well. But let's get into this video. Now, Rasmus Sandin is still a younger guy. I mean, he's only 21 years old, so there's still a lot of time for him to develop. I think he surprised a lot of people. He is a shorter guy at 5'11" and at 183, but he has been bounced around. We've seen him get hit pretty hard, but he's not afraid to make a big hit. We've seen it against Winnipeg multiple times, that big reverse hit. It was on like Scheifele or Wheeler, one of them. I think it was Scheifele. I could be wrong, but he threw a massive hit against Winnipeg. He's not afraid to get into the corners, and I think Bogosian actually did a really good job mentoring him on his line. And as much as people hate Marincin, I think Marincin at least gave him a little bit of a boost in terms of like teaching him how to be a pro. And I believe he's even said that himself. Regardless of what you think of Marincin or any other player that's been in the league for a long time that you may not like, they still need to take these younger guys under their wing and kind of teach them the ways. And I think that guys like Bogosian, Marincin, and even William Nylander, because they're both from Sweden, they've really helped Rasmus Sandin become the guy that he is. Sandin and Nylander work out quite a bit together in the offseason as well. So it's good to see that he's getting a lot of mentorship and help from some of the other players on the team. And I would especially say William Nylander. I think they've worked together quite closely, even though one's a forward and one's a defenseman, which is really cool. But both being from Sweden, you got to love that connection. But I've liked what I've seen from Sandin so far. Sure, he's had a couple gaffes here and there, but he is 21. He's going to make those mistakes. And the blue line is a very tough position to play. Especially looking at this blue line, I think Leaf fans are really expecting him to take over for Morgan Rielly. Where I struggle to see that is exactly what I said at the beginning of this video. We're waiting for that extra step. We're not just going to throw this guy to the Wolves and be like, now be Morgan Rielly. It doesn't make any sense. He's not going to be Morgan Rielly at age 21. Could he be? Possibly, but we haven't seen that yet. So we need him to slowly grow here. He's too good for the AHL. We've seen him dominate with the Marlies. He looks way better. Him and Liljegren just look way better than everybody else when they're on the ice. So we've got to look at that first, okay? I really expect him to take that extra step, but this season he's going to have to prove it. Could he steal a spot from somebody in the top four? I doubt it, because it's pretty much a lock. But if they're going to try to give guys like Sandin and Dermott and Liljegren minutes on the bottom pairing to hopefully give them sheltered time and let them play against weaker competition and see what they can do, we're going to have to see it from Sandin. That's all I'm going to say. We're going to have to see it, because if Dermott wants to play more, he's going to have to beat out Sandin on that left side. And he's Timothy Liljegren is going to try to take some minutes as well. But this entry-level deal, he's got 1 year left on it, of course. He previously had the entry-level slide. Go read up on that. I'm not the best at explaining it, but it has to do with playing time between the AHL and the NHL. But he's got that $894,000 contract left here, 1 year left on the entry-level deal. And that's another thing that you have to consider. Sandin's going to be looking for that next contract, that next little bridge deal. It's probably going to be somewhere in the same range as what Dermott's was when he got his bridge deal, not the one he previously signed. But I think he's going to have to get a prove me 1 or 2 year deal, unless Sandin comes out and just torches it this year and is absolutely fantastic, which, I mean, that's what we're hoping for. But I struggle to see how he'll be able to do that with limited minutes on the bottom pairing. unless they really give those guys a bunch of minutes. But in a contract year, you're hoping that he plays really well. Now, looking at his minimal numbers here, because he has only been in the AHL and NHL for a little bit here, but 28 points in 44 games played in his first season with the Marlies, and 10 points in 13 games in the playoffs. So he's a gamer, all right? Then we got 8 points in 28 games played in the NHL with the Leafs. Not too bad. Then 15 and 21 again with the Marlies. Then in the NHL this past season, 4 points in 9 games played. He was actually at a pretty good pace. And then in the playoffs this year, he had 1 goal in 5 games played, which takes me to, again, the regular season stats. He did look pretty decent. Like I said, 4 points in 9 games played is a pretty good pace for the guy. He is known more as a offensive style defenseman. Considering Mikko Lehtonen was brought in here to be that same type of thing, he was like a freaking icon in terms of international play as an offensive defenseman. But Rasmus Sandin outscored him by a point in the same amount of games, which is quite interesting. He had more points than some guys who have played significantly more games, or he was close to guys that played significantly more games. So definitely something to look out for. I mentioned it in my Travis Dermott video, but Dermott only had 6 points in 51 games played, and Sandin had 4 in 9. So a pretty considerable difference there in terms of points per game. And then if you look at the playoffs, I mean, he had the same amount of points as Hyman did in 7 games. He had the same amount of goals as him, Joe Thornton. Unfortunately, the same amount of goals as a guy like Morgan Rielly, who should have been putting up better numbers offensively. He had a goal and Marner didn't, and he had as many goals as Austin Matthews. So what you're trying to see from Sandin is kind of the 3 points in 7 games played in a playoff series, and you're hoping that Rielly is the guy that's putting up 5 or 6 points in 7 games played. All I'm trying to say here is that the Leafs need to see a complete game from Rasmus Sandin when he is playing against weaker competition, because he should be better than them. When you're a highly touted prospect, when you're putting up points, when you're looking pretty good in both ends of the ice against good competition in the AHL on a first pairing, you're hoping that at least reflects a top 6 defenseman. And with Sandin, he's touted to be a top 4 guy because of his offensive abilities. So you're hoping to see a little bit on the defensive side, but you're hoping to really see him take a step offensively. And in those 9 games played, the fact that he had 4 points, that's a really good pace for a 20 to 21-year-old defenseman. And like I said, I'm really, really looking forward to seeing if he can develop into something even bigger this season. So I want to know, if I could speak English, I want to know what you guys think about Rasmus Sandin, because he is very, very interesting going into this season, because his spot should be locked in. It should be, but you never know, because like I said, Liljegren could really impress in camp. The Leafs could have somebody else on a PTO. I don't know. They could just bring somebody else in. Somebody could surprise everybody and play really well defensively and take away spots. But Rasmus Sandin really, really needs to play well in the preseason and in the beginning of the regular season to show that he deserves a spot on this team. So let me know what you guys think. Like and subscribe if you are new. Thank you to all the new subscribers and the ones that have been here since day one. I love and appreciate you guys as always, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video or stream. Peace.